Hello, welcome to Hybiz News. This is Kranti Muddam. Education is a great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is that we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. A famous quote by famous Nobel Peace Prize winner Nelson Mandela. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. The educational system has transformed in present days with new policies and new implementations yet to start. Presently, the trend is the digital classes or online classes or e-teaching, whatever name we call it. But this has been turned out from few months is been a nightmare to many children in India. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the education sector globally. Classes have been suspended to enforce social distancing to ensure safety of children from the virus. The educational institutions from schools to universities have shifted to online methods of teaching and evaluation. As the number of cases continues to rise, there is no certainty about when the normal situation restores. This has encouraged some sort of a permanent tilt, if not a complete shift to online education. As we all know that there is a shift in education system in past few years has slowly started, and now we are running forward to a completely digitalized ways of education. For most of the children, for access to e-teaching, they'll have to depend on inconvenient methods such as mobile phones, where very few are using computers or laptops. The new National Education Policy approved last month also talks about being ready for the digital and online education. The 2017-18 National Statistical Office survey has highlighted caution against a sudden push towards online education in India. Any such policy will run the risk of excluding a significant section of students. A number of students who in theory have access to online teaching will have to depend on inconvenient methods such as using mobile phones instead of computers. A wholesale shift to online education is not just dependent on access to the devices and the internet. For instance, shifting to online methods can be far more difficult in government institutions than in private ones. And it is far more difficult in India, where most of the families have lack of internet access, and is much more difficult to the poorest of the poor. As per the surveys, 3/4 of the students in India do not have access to the internet at home. The share of those who do not have computers, including devices such as palm tops and laptops, was much greater, around 89%. Access to these facilities was higher among students at higher levels of education. But even at the highest levels, a large share of students did not have access to these facilities. As expected, access to the internet and computers is directly related to the household incomes. The internet access must have increased since 2017-18. According to the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, the number of internet subscribers increased from 446 million to 719 million between 2017 and 2019. The bulk of this growth has come from wireless connections, that is 277 million out of 273 million. While mobiles can be useful in listening to online lectures, they are not the ideal medium when it comes to writing exams or even assignments. Lack of access to the internet and devices has also created a gap in digital literacy. As many as 76% of students in India in the age group of 5 to 35 did not know how to use a computer. The share of those who did not know how to use the internet was 74.5%. Once again, this gap rises with a fall in income levels. 55% of the students among the top 20% of households monthly per capita expenditure knew how to use a computer and internet, while these proportions were only 9% and 10% among the bottom 20%. Given the interrelationship between the class background and choice of courses, professional courses are better suited for a shift to online methods. 54% of humanities students at the graduate level or higher, including diplomas, did not have access to the internet, and 81% did not have access to the computers. The share of students in private, unaided and aided institutions with computer at home is 36% and 30% respectively, was higher than in government institutions, around 25%. To be sure, even these numbers are likely to overestimate the number of students who may benefit from online education. This is because having a computer or internet facility at home is not a guarantee of uninterrupted access to it. There are some instances where lack of resources to take online examinations was commonly seen in few regions. There was an instance where a father working as a daily wager with two sons was worried about their final year examinations as the keypad of the phone shared was not working and the internet was slow. For such families, a sudden shift to online education can also strain their spending capacity. Rough estimates suggest pursuing online education can be very costly for the poorest households. For example, they show that playing a 480 pixels video or a video with a resolution of 854 into 480 pixels on YouTube can consume about 264 MB of data per hour. 5 hours online lectures for 5 days a week on the platform would then mean consuming 26.4 GB data a month. The National Education Policy emphasizes on preventing dropouts and aims to increase the gross enrollment ratio in schools. But if India has to focus on online learning, it would do well to ensure students have access to devices and internet connections and ensure that no child is left without valid education. As the new policy directly or indirectly is related to the incomes of the households, as many families could not bear the cost of these mobiles, computers and even the internet services. The government has to ensure these facilities reach all the sections of the societies equally, even to the remote villages. Thank you for watching Hybiz News.